quickly on my thing from yesterday that I feel like applies to today. So at the risk of sounding like a hot take artist, which I don't think I tend to be or try to be too often, yesterday I just kind of pointed out, like, watching the Bills and the Patriots go in their different directions and watching what Diggs did for the Bills when he came here and what Diggs is doing for New England now. Forget about how it fizzles or fireworks and explodes. Fine. He is, as maybe the kids like to say, a lot of people like to say, he's a dog. Mm-hmm. And he gives the impression of a person that will step over your body to beat you, right? Like he's gonna do whatever it takes to win.
Yep.
And I watched on Sunday as Diggs gave a pregame speech, fiery pregame speech, made a 4th-and-1 touchdown catch as time expired in the end of the first half. Big, huge play for them.
Yep.
Caught the onside kick.
He got smoked on the onside kick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then after the game, Trevion Henderson credited Diggs for a couple of his runs. Not that like he made the play happen, but he said, he's hard on me. And I kind of had the thought, like, you know what? The Bills might need some more voices in their room that are hard on each other because they certainly give this impression that everybody is just always in a good mood. There's no pressure. Everybody's feeling great. Everybody eats. And it occurred to me when Brian Daboll got fired that that's the same energy. Like Brian Daboll, don't we all know he and McDermott clashed at times? Mm-hmm. Don't we all know that Daboll can get loose with anger? He loses his mind.
We saw him lose it on Allen on the sidelines a couple times,
right,
on TV, let alone maybe what we didn't see.
Right. So, and we kind of know about Daboll, so he can get that upset at Allen, and they can push back and forth on each other that much where Allen still loves him, and Daboll talks about him like, I love him like a son. Like, that to me is a special kind of relationship, and if you are someone that wanted the Bills or want the Bills to kind of pursue that after the year, I think it is totally reasonable to bring him in on staff to do that. I mean, there's so many things about it. It's almost like you can look at Kansas City, and New England is about to be this too. What is the best case scenario for a quarterback that is awesome? It's that you get continuity in the coaching staff. And here's Allen that's had to change coordinators every 2 years, right? From Daboll to Dorsey to Brady. And if Brady gets a job, we'd be talking, what, Davis Webb or Ronald Curry or Aaron Cromer. Somebody gets that job.
Yep.
What Patrick Mahomes has is the same coordinator / coach, and that defense gets to keep the same defensive coordinator. Why? Because he's not going to go leave. He's not going anywhere.
Yep.
In New England, I got Mike Vrabel, and what do they have as their offensive coordinator? Josh McDaniels. He's not going anywhere. He's already done it, failed.
Yep.
Now you got a good gig again. You want to coach offense and, score 1 million points?
Yeah.
Seems like a great environment for a quarterback to be in. And if your goal in getting Brian Daboll as a future asset, not this year, is that, I think that's totally reasonable. Like that again, it ends up being a conversation for January, February, March, but I don't think that that's unreasonable to have on the horizon.
Well, it's an Allen question though, in that,
would he want it?
Does he want that? Because when Daboll can be hard on you, and when Diggs is fiery and can be hard on you, when you are a young player, you're 23, you're 24, you're still figuring out the league, you're still maybe trying to take steps as a player. Like the video I always remember, I'm sure this happened other times, but the time I remember Daboll going off on Allen on the sidelines, I think he's a rookie. Like he's not Josh Allen yet. Does Josh Allen think he's outgrown that? I don't need that anymore.
And earns respect.
I'm the MVP. You're not. I'm not going to get screamed at by either my offensive coordinator or the wide receiver. Screamed at might be over the top. Just held accountable. Like someone that could. Diggs, I remember the Jet game where Allen was playing horrible and they lost in overtime. Diggs is on the sideline, like, punching him in the chest, like, in a good way, like Jim Harbaugh style. Like, come on, let's go. Like, be smart, let's go. Like, fiery, pep talk kind of vibes. That guy doesn't exist, I don't think, on their sidelines right now for the quarterback specifically. Right. Brady's not on the sidelines. So,
and leadership,
him.
Like leadership is often eye of the beholder here, and these conversations lead to, what we see from the outside. But doesn't it feel like a team that always is just kind of standing around looking for Josh Allen to do something?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, let's see what he does. Instead of, I want to be the one to take over. And Bean did say that. We've got guys that want targets and show me a receiver that doesn't want the ball. But it does feel like it's a lot of Josh Allen and people watching him play.
Right. Because what is their leadership group right now? Like McDermott wouldn't get into who specifically it is.
They have two captains.
They have two captains.
And it's Allen and Bernard.
And I'm sure Dawkins is somebody that would be like involved in stuff like that. Like if they had a meeting about how the team is going and certain players were going to be involved in those conversations, like is Dawkins that type of guy?
You think?
He's so positive and an amazing person in the community, like off the field. He never really comes off as what we're really talking about here. Like the guy, does he?
Against other teams.
Against other teams.
He shows how mad he gets, and I feel like
he tries to fight the Jets.
That's right. So and he'll try to fight the Panthers.
That's
and I feel like
so maybe a little bit.
That to me shows a level of, and he's talked about it too. Like when anybody tries to get after his quarterback, how he feels a personal responsibility to protect him.
But I've never seen that. I've never seen that with any of his teammates. And again, like maybe it fizzled, maybe it exploded with Diggs specifically, and maybe even with Daboll too. But that was more on the coaches. But between both of them, like. I always think of Draymond Green for this with the Golden State Warriors. How
he's nuts.
That dude is a crazy person. And he's not the best player on that team at all. Like Steph Curry is your Josh Allen in that environment. And maybe Draymond is your maybe Diggs or Daboll in this department. And it can get fiery. It can get explosive. This dude got suspended in the finals because he couldn't stop kicking people in the nuts. He punched one of his teammates and knocked him out. Yeah. And the video got leaked. I mean, there's stuff, he gets ejected all the time. Like, he told Kevin Durant basically to get out, and he left. Like, the Warriors had dozens of reasons over the years to want this guy out, and every time Steph Curry always talks about him, he's like, we need him because he is the engine, he's the fire in the belly of everybody. Like, we will live with how ugly it can get with him because we know we need that fire. And I feel like the Bills sometimes give the impression that they run from that fire.
I think it's a strong point. Anthony in Charlotte. Anthony, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call. So I wanted to mention this, while we're on the topic of Brian Daboll, actually. I feel like the Bills should definitely bring him back and hire him. Maybe as whether that be offensive coordinator or maybe even possibly being the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills if the Bills get to the point of firing McDermott. But then I had this other idea in mind, because a lot of people, think it's crazy to fire McDermott. Well, maybe, because McDermott knows defense, make him your defensive coordinator and make Brian Daboll your next head coach.
Well, that's not going to happen. First off, McDermott's not going to get fired. And if he did get whatever, he would not get demoted. He'd get a head coaching job in a day, right?
Yes, he would.
He'd get a head coaching job right away if he left. That's not to say you can't if you want to move on. That's not a reason to not do it. I just don't think it's a reasonable. I mean, they're not going to fire him. That would be my impression. And less likely is that he takes a demotion with the organization. That's just not going to happen.
No, if Daboll's back on this team, it is after Joe Brady gets a job somewhere else and Daboll comes back to be the offensive coordinator. Which is that the most he can strive for? I do not think he's getting another head coaching job.
No.
I think it'd be stunning if he did.
Went pretty poorly in New York in terms of game management and stuff. They had just started to kind of get something going with Jackson Dart. And listen, one thing about the Giants here and their offense, like they lost Malik Neighbors, and then they lost Cam Scatabo. Like the Giants had started to have an exciting offense.
And Dart couldn't stay on the field because he keeps getting hit in the head.
I also want you to see like the Giants' schedule, who they played.
Yeah.
They had a absolutely murderer's row of games to this point. Like it looked bad from the start. They lost to the Cowboys, who are not exactly good. But Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, who they beat. They did lose to the Saints. Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, 49ers, Bears. You're not playing the Jets twice in there.
No.
And you just don't have an opportunity to. There's not a lot of easy days in there. They did blow games against the Broncos, and they blew a game against the Bears, maybe.
But I do wonder what he wants, because like the idea of him coming back here, like I tweeted yesterday, like I love the idea of him being your Josh McDaniels. Just like he is your lifer coordinator. He's from here too, right? Like that might help to a guy wanting that eventually, but does he feel like he's at that stage in his career? He's 50 years old. If he's 65, maybe it's a little bit different. But does he think, that I've won Coach of the Year, that if I go back to the Bills, is that my best lily pad to get back to leap back to a head coaching job? Or is that just viewed as, well, I just went back to Josh Allen, and that's why it looked good? Yeah. Versus, if he looks around, does he think, I'll have a couple of offensive coordinator opportunities. If I can get with a young quarterback, groom him, that's my only avenue to getting back to a head coaching job. Like, it is assumed, I think, from a lot of Bills fans, it's just like they can have him if they want him, and I'm not sure. It depends really what his motivation is. He might just want to live at home for the rest of his life, and then here's the job.
Go fish or golf or whatever he likes to do.
But if he wants to be a head coach again, I'm not sure this is his best spot.
No. I mean, I would, once you've gotten to the top of that mountain, you've done the head coaching thing, maybe you want to be that person, or maybe you decide, like, man, I don't want that life. I like coaching football. I like you being around the guys, and I don't want to have to answer questions every Sunday when we lose, and every Monday, and every Wednesday, and every it's a much easier, cushier job to be an offensive coordinator. I climbed the mountain, I saw the view, and now I'll just go hiking instead of trying to get to the Everest every day.